Look around you. What do you see? Does it haunt you? Have you labeled this ordinary? Tell me, is there an ache in your chest? What would I find if I saw right through you? Look around you. Does it tear you in two? Oh, the world's a crazier place than it was yesterday. Is there still hope for this race to salvage joy from pain? We've made so many mistakes, and we can't stop making more. Rose-colored glasses off your face, you don't need them anymore. Look around you. What do you perceive? Will it change you? The thoughts and prayers give them all they need. I know life is more than just this, God, more than I can keep. Will this change me? Or am I lying through my teeth? Oh, the world's a crazier place than it was yesterday. Is there still hope for this race to salvage joy from pain? We've made so many mistakes, and we can't stop making more. Rose-colored glasses off your face, you don't need them anymore. Yesterday, is there still hope for this race to salvage joy from pain? We've made so many mistakes, and we can't stop making more. Rose-colored glasses off your face, you don't need them anymore. You don't need them anymore.
Hi, so this is kind of weird because I don't usually talk a lot in my videos, and there's a very good reason for that. It's not a great talker, especially in front of a camera, so you might find this very awkward, but I felt very compelled to say a few words about the song you just heard, Look Around, and just my thoughts on recent events in general. Yeah, so I wrote Look Around as a response to what's been happening in my country with the whole political crisis. You can go ahead and Google it and see what happened, because there's a lot, and sedition is a thing. The pandemic and the migrant/refugee crisis in my country, and I wrote it as a way to process my thoughts on how I've been feeling about it, and to just remind myself and anyone who listens that the issues in our world are very real, and that there isn't any space to be complacent about these issues and to think that they don't affect us, because that's very selfish. Perhaps the message of the song is a bit more relevant recently, with things that have been happening in the world with racism and everything related to that. A lot of you know that I am a Christian, and that means that a lot of what I believe is influenced by what the Bible teaches. And for me, that's really important because in the past few years, God has been very real in my life, and He has been the one who has brought me to where I am today. And it's safe to say that I'm alive because of Him. So I place a lot of my trust in Him, and I know that in doing that, things will always go my way, but I know that things have always turned out okay because I've been able to trust God and say that He's good no matter what. So I've been trying to reflect a little bit on how I feel about recent issues, as well as how that reconciles with my faith. Because if God is good, then why are all these things happening? And also, where do I stand in all of this, right? I can tend to be someone who distances themselves from a problem because of how far away it seems. And for me, in my own personal life, there are a lot of things that happen that make it very hard to consider other things that are happening. And also, thinking about issues like this can be very exhausting. And when I see that a certain problem won't be solved for a very long time, or there isn't an immediate solution to it, then it becomes discouraging to think about. So I've just been thinking about God. So I've been spending a little bit more time with Him and just asking Him, like, okay, why is all of this happening, and what can I do about it? And that's actually been helping a lot, because the more time I spend with Him, the more I understand who He is. And the more I understand who He is, the more I understand His heart for the things that are happening in this world. And I know that He is constant, and that He is a God who still loves justice, and He loves love, and He loves goodness. And that seeing all of the things that happen in the world today break His heart so bad, and they break His heart more than anyone in the universe, because He was the one who created the world, and it was never His intention for the world to end up this way, but it's like that. And yeah, so I've just been trying to build how I see the issues in this world today based on how God sees them. That helps me to know that, okay, I need to care about these issues, and that helps me to know that there's a part that I need to play in all of this. And when I do try to play a part, it comes from me trusting in Him and me doing it, knowing that He will be the one who makes things right again. So that's a lot less exhausting in that sense. I really respect anyone who can look at an issue and immediately have an opinion about it, and who immediately speaks out about it, because that's not me. I usually need to process things a lot more. I always want to weigh both sides, and I always want to, when I speak out, to know that I'm doing it because I feel very strongly about it, to know that I made a stance that is correct, and I'm not just jumping on the bandwagon. Yeah, and I think another thing that I've learned about from God for all of this is that having faith in God helps me have hope for the issues that are happening right now. If I weren't a Christian, I think I'd have a really hard time reconciling all of this and believing the fact that there will be a solution one day. I tend to be a very pessimistic person, so I'd probably look at these issues and be so overwhelmed by the fact that they are so real and so hard to solve that I'd probably just not want to involve myself at all. But knowing that there is a day that all of this will no longer exist, that justice will come and have its way. Everyone who is being oppressed, everyone who is having their right taken away, they will get what they deserve in a good way. And knowing that helps me have hope. Knowing that God will bring that helps me have hope in Him. And knowing that helps me not to be in a place where I just wait and sit and do nothing. But it helps me to know that, okay, I have a part to play in this as well. And that I have a part to play in speaking out, stirring that discussion of getting others to care about certain issues, because that is the only way that is one of the only ways we can bring change. And I think one more thing I wanted to add is that it's very easy, I think it's really, really easy to look at all these issues and deal with it with hate. It's easy to be angry about it and then say things that aren't really necessary, or to deal with an issue in a way that only makes it worse. One thing that really stuck out to me was how Jesus dealt with with people, with the soldiers who were coming to arrest him. One of his disciples went and cut off the ear of one of the soldiers, and he was like, wait, don't do that, that's not necessary. Jesus wanted to deal with the violence with love. What I'm trying to say is, when you think of trying to deal with a certain issue, or you're trying to speak out, it's really important to do it in a way that's rational and to do it in a way that doesn't make the problem worse, because that doesn't look good on the side that's trying to make things right, you know? That's really easy to say, but maybe it's something to think about. How would you as a person speak out against something in a way that causes people to not be more angry, but to make them think? So yeah, I'd encourage you to sit and think about why you should care, because I think obliviousness isn't just bad, it's contagious. And like, when you don't think about issues and when you don't talk about them, then the people in your community will think that it's okay to not care. And yeah, you know, it's important to have these discussions. It's important to have a stance on a certain issue, because when you develop that stance, there's a very high tendency you become quite passionate about it, and then you talk about it with your friends and your family, and you start that discussion. Together, you can start fighting for that issue or against it. Yeah, and I think that's really important, because that's kind of how mankind has sort of progressed in the past few years. We find a right that isn't quite met, and we fight so that it is met. That's why women can vote. That's why slavery is no longer a thing, or, well, for the most part illegal, but you get the point. So yeah, thanks for making it this far in the video if you have, but these are just my thoughts on how I've been feeling about certain things that have been happening, and how my faith ties in with that especially. Thanks for watching. Coffee is great, and I'll see you guys around.